Good morning. I'm Sam Haskell, Chairman of the Board of the Miss America organization, and we have a very exciting group of people for you to see this morning. You know, you have been talking to a lot of us during the week about what goes on behind the scenes, but the face of the Miss America pageant telecast falls on the shoulders of our hosts and our executive producer, and that's who I'm about to introduce to you right now. First of all, back for his third time to host Miss America, but the second time in a row, is Chris Harrison, the host of the ABC hit romance reality series franchise, The Bachelor and The Bachelorette. He also hosts ABC's reality show, Bachelor Pad, and he continues to be an influence in the entertainment industry through a variety of professional endeavors. In addition to the Bachelor franchise, he has hosted the live television coverage of the final championship rounds of the 2010 Scripps National Spelling Bee, co-hosted ABC's 2008 American Music Awards Red Carpet Live, hosted Road to the 60th Primetime Emmy Awards, and ABC.com's daily coverage leading up to the 2008 Primetime Emmy Awards. We're thrilled to have back hosting the Miss America pageant, Mr. Chris Harrison. Sir. Thank you, Chris. Burke is a successful host, actress, and entrepreneur. She returns for a fifth season as the co-host of ABC's Dancing with the Stars in March, having earned the coveted Mirror Ball Trophy as Season 7's champion with her professional dance partner, Derek Huff. This month, she will release 2 new fitness DVDs, Transform Your Body with Brooke Burke, Strengthen and Condition, and Tone and Tighten, and her first book, The Naked Mom, will be released in paperback in February. With close to 2 million Twitter followers, Brooke has made a name for herself as a trusted resource in the world of motherhood, motivating her to co-create the website modernmom.com, an online community for the woman behind the mom. As a successful entrepreneur, Brooke created the online store babushbaby.com in 2007, featuring her popular post-pregnancy belly wraps tots. Please welcome Brooke Burke-Charvet. Thank you, Brooke.
Thank you. Nice to be back.
Thrilled to have you. And finally, our executive producer, Tony Eaton. For a 4th year in a row, Grammy Award-winning Tony Eaton, the head of Tall Pony Productions, and his wife Lauren Harris Eaton are here as a part of our production team. He is the genius behind major network specials like Fashion Rocks, Tsunami 8, A Concert of Hope, and the 6th Annual Radio Music Awards. His long roster of television credits include David Bowie's Serious Moonlight and Tim McGraw Reflected. He has worked with such stars as Usher, Madonna, Janet Jackson, and Cher, and he's the beneficiary of several awards, including 3 Grammys and 2 NAACP Image Awards. Tony did such a remarkable job as producer for the past 3 years that we had to have him back again. Please welcome Tony Eaton.
Thanks, Sam.
Thank you, Top
Appreciate
Buddy.
it.
And finally, my partner and brother, Art McMaster, President and CEO of the Miss America organization. So we'll have you guys take a seat and we'll start the questions. Put Brooke in the middle. There you go.
Perfect, as always.
So who wants to have the first question? Marvin.
Tony, I know you make an effort every year to make some changes to the show, and I know you can't reveal the surprises this year, but can you talk to us about how important it is for you to change it up every year?
Well, yeah. I mean, the girls change each year. Each year, the girls are different. This year's collection of contestants is unbelievably good. They're all really bright. They're focused on making Miss America more of a 21st century show, and they sort of force a lot of these changes, and there are a lot of changes this year.
You want to give us
No.
you want to give us just a tiny piece of meat on that bone?
I just asked him the same question,
Brooke
and
and I
he
would
said
like to
no.
find this out as well.
I already went in with it a week ago, so.
Yeah, that was a good try. Nice one, Robin. I will say that the opening is different this year. We decided to take the girls out across 6 different locations in Las Vegas. We shot them at the Hoover Dam, at the Le Rev, at the Wynn, at Hyde Bellagio, at Fremont Street, the Cosmopolitan, and I'm forgetting one, and Ghost Bar at the Palms. And that it's a pretty full service, very high profile, very energetic opening that I think you'll like. And intercut with a lot of remarks by our hosts live on stage.
All those places at the same time.
Yeah.
Is there a reason for more location of Vegas in the show?
We like to showcase where we are. Vegas is a very colorful, very photogenic location, so it lends itself to this.
Right here.
For Brooke and Chris, I was just wondering how much preparation ahead of time goes into the hosting duties for the show?
Me first. Well, one of the beauties of live television and why I enjoy live television so much is that there's not a lot of prep and anything can happen. We have a wonderful team of producers that really run the show. We're going into a script meeting today. We know nothing. We haven't had an opportunity to really mingle with any of the girls yet. But that's what makes it so exciting and fresh and
Yeah, I mean,
spontaneous?
one of the difficult things of Miss America is the pageant is actually going on right now, and literally was going on until last night. And so we're just now getting the theater ourselves to, as soon as we're done with you guys, to hop in there and start breaking the show down and going over it. But you know, live TV is such a different animal. It's something I love. It's my passion. It's my background. There's nothing like it. And you know, to borrow a phrase from my own show, you know, Miss America really is the most dramatic show on TV. It really is. It lends itself to that. It is a fantastic moment. It's a fantastic show on top of, you know, the pageant and what it is and the history. So 2 hours of live TV, and you have 53 moving parts and gowns and bathing suits and everything else.
A lot of action.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I remember last year specifically as we were going into the talent portion, the girls don't know, you know, when they're performing, but the girl that was performing first last year was not on stage when we started our 10 count to come back live on the air. That's live TV. And, you know, yeah, producers screaming and Tony having a meltdown, and you never, you know, and they're like, stretch, and sing and do something. And, you know, lo and behold, she came sprinting on and literally getting dressed as she was walking on. And it's 3, 2, 1, and that's live TV, and I love that adrenaline rush. There's nothing like it. And then when you add the stakes of what Miss America is, it's incredible.
And that raw emotion, it's something that you just can't duplicate. You can't rehearse, you can't plan for that. And you know what they're experiencing between the nerves and the pressure, and there's only so much practice you can really put into that. It's very, very real and very intense. And I love being part of that.
Well, further to that, there's something new this year that is completely live television. You'll see it unfold as we see it unfold, and I hope it all goes well. Otherwise, someone else will be sitting here next year.
That goes for all of us.
Yeah.
We trust you, Tony. We trust you.
Thank you, Sam.
Yeah, Robin.
2 hours sometimes feels like 4 hours. Sometimes 2 hours feels like 2 minutes.
Have you been talking to my wife? Totally different story.
She's here, be careful.
Thinking back to last year, how long did 2 hours feel like?
To me, when a show is, not to suck up here to Tony, but when it's so well produced, I mean, it felt like 30 minutes to me. It flies by. And, you know, I know, and let's be honest, last year was a bit of an experiment. It was a huge show, bringing it back to network TV where it belongs.
First time we had worked together.
Yeah, and first time Brooke and I had worked together. And so, if I do say so myself, it was a resounding success. But no, the ratings were fantastic, and there was a response to not only Miss America coming back, but also the way Tony produced the show, and I think the way it's evolved and kind of bringing it back into modern day television.
Well, I have to throw that right back at you. You can't do can't do a show without hosts who can handle a lot of last minute changes and restructuring and just like little comments before they go back out there and saying, please deal with this. Like
Sure.
Brooke had to do a minute, which in television is a century, at the beginning of the crowning act, because I was a minute short. You know, you have to get off at a certain time. This is kind of behind the curtain stuff, but if you don't get up behind at a certain time, you're in trouble. So Brooke just kindly went out there and
There's just so much to talk about, though, in those moments of pressure, and so much that the viewer in America really wants to know and know more of. And, you know, to answer your question, time flew. It went by so fast, and that's just the pressure and the energy of live television. So
Tony,
it
can
was
you
fun.
just run through the logistics of how many cameras tomorrow night, how many trucks, how many stage crew, cost of it, if you would, but
No cost.
No
the
cost.
day that you put pen to paper for the first time for tomorrow night.
The show's really a 6-month ramp up. I mean, it starts in Orlando in August, and many things happen before we get to this point the day before the show. There's 50 people on the stage crew, there's another 60 people on the TV crew, there's TV trucks, tape trucks, support trucks, there's a big satellite truck out there. And this show is a complicated, three-dimensional mass of moving parts that you really have to work for a long time with to get right.
And how about the incredible number of volunteers from the Miss America organization, all the dressers,
Exactly.
all the ladies that volunteer their time all year long to help with the girls that are involved in the quick changes and those chaotic moments backstage when they're going from their active wear to swimsuits to evening wear. Those are all volunteers.
And that's a great shout out. I mean, how many volunteers do you
We have
think?
about 300,000 from the local, state to national volunteers.
300,000.
Here in Las Vegas, though.
But in Las Vegas, we have probably 100 local volunteers who help as hostesses and chaperones to the contestants.
Security.
And as Brooke says, working backstage in those quick change moments. And let me just say this about what Brooke just said, and this is why Brooke and Chris are so important to what we're doing. They get it. They get it. And one of the comments we got last year from a lot of the people from around the country is that they seem to care so much about the girls. And I said, no, they didn't seem to care. They really did. And that's why they're back, and that's why we want a relationship with them.
Thank you.
Could you, Tony, just the number of cameras tomorrow night?
12.
12 camera shoot,
Sorry, 13.
13 camera shoot.
Chris and Brooke, what have you learned about the organization, or maybe how has your perception changed of what you thought Miss America was before you started working with it?
I was really impressed last year at how passionate and devoted all of the contestants are to their causes and how much charity work that they do. And you know, we have sort of this preconceived notions when we think about beauty pageants, and having dabbled in it a little bit myself, it was a really different experience. The scholarship funds that are awarded, the motivation and the dedication that the girls have to achieving that, it's really remarkable. They're smart, we know that they're beautiful, but they're talented, but they also have a pretty specific vision, and they're really dedicated. And the amount of time that they contribute to all of their causes really impressed me. I thought it was a great group of ladies. And there's also this family vibe. You know, it's really difficult when you're competing, and you're competing for the one crown. There's an incredible amount of support, and I think the attitude would surprise a lot of people. It's not that sort of catty, competitive attitude that you would expect in the stuff that we see on a lot of reality shows. It's a really nice group of ladies.
What are you saying?
Nothing.
But watch Monday night, she's right, great show. You know, I didn't really know, but I was kind of bred for this job. I attended Oklahoma City University, which, if I understand correctly, we have the most Miss Americas of any institution of higher learning in the country. And so I was kind of exposed to Miss America, this organization. We have, you know, the Miss OCU that goes on to Miss Oklahoma. And so, you know, I kind of saw firsthand how it affected these young ladies, the scholarship, just how smart and talented and unbelievable they were. But when I hosted Miss America, when I was exposed to the actual event for the first time, I think it was '04 when I did it back in Atlantic City, really it was what the atmosphere. I think it's hard, and that's what Tony and Brooke and I really want to bring out, is it's an amazing event. A live event. I mean, I as a sportscaster, I've been to Super Bowls, I've been to Final Fours, and look, the wild crowd that was in Atlantic City when I first did it, and last year back here at Planet Hollywood, it's a great live event, and you have your fans. You know, you have the Texas contingent sitting next to Utah, sitting next to Oklahoma, and they're all yelling and screaming. But at the same time, there is this camaraderie, and it's not antagonistic, and they're not, you know, rooting against anybody. But it's a fun event, the excitement and that adrenaline, and we try and capture that and show that to the rest of the country.
Brooke, I take it that as a kid you watched Miss America, yeah?
I watched Miss America with my mother, who watched it with her mother, And I've made this comment before, but I think last year when I landed the gig to host, my mother was more excited about that opportunity for me than anything else that I've done in my career. And she's here in Vegas. My husband's mother is here as well. We brought both of our mothers out to enjoy the show. But there's history there, and it's tradition, and I'm so happy that it's back on a network where we can, reach the masses again, because I remember those moments as a little girl with my mother. So a lot of history there.
Did you ever think about entering? I think we asked that last
year. You asked that last year.
We're still waiting for you to do that.
My team is still making fun of me because I think my response was that I didn't have a talent. I don't sing. I dance my way through Dancing with the Stars only because of Derek Huff. On my own out there, forget about it. I have so much respect for them because it's a big part of the competition, and it really just validates the fact that we're looking for a well-rounded woman who can do many things and who can entertain America, and that America can fall in love with and respect, and a woman that can be a role model, and a woman who's going to further her education. So I didn't have that category down. So no.
You have daughters.
I do have daughters, yes.
And will they be
3.
watching tomorrow?
I hope they'll be watching tomorrow. I know my little girl, my 5-year-old, and my son will be watching. I don't know what my big girls will be at home doing. It's not that exciting to tune into Mom on television, which I'm sure your children probably would agree. And I did say it's live on ABC tomorrow night, so watch Mommy. At least check out my dress, but who knows what they'll be up to.
What's your 5-year-old's name?
Rain.
Rain?
Rain.
R-A-I-N?
R-A-I-N.
And if Rain came to you on Sunday and said that she wanted to dream one day of being Miss America, what would you say to her?
Well, I'm never a dream squasher as a parent, and I would have to ask her some questions why, and what is it about the competition that intrigues her so much, and what are her life goals? And if charity and education were some of them, I would support it. She's a beautiful little girl. I would make sure that her focus was very well-rounded, and it wasn't just about competing in a pageant visually. And I think this organization really does focus on that for a lot of the women. I encourage my daughters to dream big and to experience a lot of different things and to dabble in everything from arts and dance and you name it, so that they can discover those things about themselves and decide what they want to do. So who knows? Rain wouldn't surprise me.
Hi, I'm doing Names Complicate. We're the swimwear sponsors for this year. Complicate is so much more than just a swimwear company. We believe you and the Miss America contestants have all the qualities of what we call a complicated woman. You're living a healthy lifestyle. You're successful, you're always inspiring and improving your lifestyle and others around you. What advice would you have for the aspiring Miss America contestants?
I'm sorry, are you asking me
Yes.
personally? I think just to be
Wait, did she call me a talented woman? Thank you.
She said you looked great in the swimsuit.
I do look good in those swimsuits. I didn't know those cameras were in the room.
I think just to stay focused on your aspirations and to be really specific and to be well-rounded and to know that you can accomplish anything and to know that being healthy, and by healthy I mean inside and out. It's a healthy state of mind, taking care of your body, being fit, and doing something that's going to make a difference is really important. And I think this offers that platform where you have an audience that's paying attention and that's listening, and you have an opportunity to be a role model and to mentor a lot of people, men and women. And I think it's an incredibly important, responsible role to take on. So I would tell them to stay really focused on that.
Chris and Brooke, welcome back. We're so happy
Thank you.
Thank you.
to keep you a part of the Miss America family. You did such an amazing job last year because, as it was said earlier, you just get it, and we love that. I know as a host it's so difficult to actually pay attention to everything that's happening on stage, the competition in particular. Do you ever catch yourself sometimes being, getting connected to some of the girls and saying, oh, I wish she would have made it through, or oh, I know she's going to do well? Do you ever catch yourself with that?
Not as much for Miss America. I found that it was it's very difficult. In my head, there's so much going on at the time between going back, delivering the lines, going backstage, and reading off the names, and it's more of the juggling aspect that I handle, and making sure that the show is moving along, and basically this big train conductor out there. So it's funny. To me, I didn't get to spend as much time paying attention to the competition itself last year.
Or much time with the ladies, actually, which is unfortunate, but
Yeah.
there's so much going on. I do think, though, in any competition that there's a handful of people that will always shine. You hope that you have that opportunity, that there's something special and unique enough about you that is going to help you stand out in a crowd. But there's so many of them. There's 50.
You know what I found last year, because I thought the talent portion of the competition would be very cut and dry. I thought, okay, look, there's some that are going to get by, and then there's some that are really... I was astounded at how phenomenal they all were and how you could break any of them down. I thought the talent was exceptional last year, and I thought it would be a lot easier to kind of determine, okay, look, this girl is really going to outshine them all. They're amazing, amazing.
I do think compassionately for me, and I may have this empathetic quality to a fault, when I'm backstage with the girls, which I'll be doing a lot of tomorrow night, it's really hard when someone is eliminated and they find out that they're not going on, and knowing that they've poured their heart and soul into it, and knowing that they've prepared this talent and they may not get to perform it, live on television tomorrow night, and hopefully they'll go on and do it elsewhere, but that is a really tough part for me, and that always pulls at my heartstrings, and it's difficult. And they still maintain this great positive attitude, which I respect so much, but it's hard.
What's your favorite portion of competition?
Mine? I like the talent competition. Yeah, I like that category.
I like the questions, the Q&A, because I know it is the most difficult. And it's funny because it's so easy to sit on your couch at home and say, well, how could you not come up with a quick answer? But when you consider that this is the culmination of a lifelong effort and work, and it all comes down to this moment, standing in front of a packed audience, 20 million viewers at home, hopefully, plus, and they have no idea what question's about to come at them. And to quickly come up with something concise, and to package it all in 20 seconds, that's my favorite part. And maybe that goes back to my reality show. I just think it's the ultimate moment in reality TV where it's like, you have to come up with something, you have to deliver. And whether you know what you're talking about or not, you have to deliver something.
I agree with you, and you have to do it in an honest way that's authentic and yet still appropriate, that is going to be able to reach people in the right way. And I think that's one of the most challenging things about this competition, is to have that voice and to know that people are really listening and have to be appropriate but still be true to who you are.
And it's a lot tougher under the lights than it is sitting out in the shadows, believe me.
Live.
Chris, I love how you've been equating the drama of your television show, The Bachelor, with that of Miss America. Have you spotted any potential bachelorettes in the group of girls in the last couple
I think for legal reasons they keep me separated from the ladies. No, but actually one of the judges this year is Mike Fleiss, who is the creator of the Bachelor franchise. No doubt he has been not only judging all week, but also judging all week, and he has a short list probably. It's funny. We haven't met them yet, and I assume once we start rehearsing, we'll get to meet them. But I don't get to spend much time with the ladies at all leading up to the show. Last year we did. We seemed to spend a little time and get to know them, and I do love seeing them at rehearsal because their guard is down. They're not on as they have to be for the show, and you just realize these are regular, fantastic, talented women that are really putting themselves out there. And so I love that aspect. But yeah, I mean, believe me, there's 53 women that could easily walk on our show.
And they may.
And they might.
I'd like to ask a question which anybody up there could answer. Miss America versus Tim Tebow tomorrow night.
I think we're given 3.5 to the Broncos. Honestly, I think Miss America could beat the Broncos, let's be honest. They are not very good. No, the best thing that'll happen, the Patriots could just crush, get up by 28 points and everyone will just get back over to Miss America.
But being serious, and thank you for that bite. 14.6 million last year, 16.
At some point during the telecast,
14.
yes. 14.6.
So you set a goal last year being back for the first time at ABC, which you exceeded by 48%, I think, right?
Right.
Have you set a goal for this year, bearing in mind that we're up against one of the toughest football nights of the season?
I always have a goal, Robin, and my goal is always just to do a little bit better than the year before. And in talking to my friends Jeff Bader and Mark Bracco at ABC, they are very excited about the fact that this game is going to keep a lot of people at home tomorrow night. And because people are going to be at home, maybe the wives of the men who are watching the football game will go into the bedroom and watch the Miss America pageant. And,
Send the man to the basement.
well, the men can go to the basement wherever they want, but we believe
what happens in my
that the
house.
key to ratings is having enough people sitting at home in front of a television watching something that will bring them to us. And I would much rather have this kind of competition that keeps people at home tomorrow night than running against a bunch of reruns.
And it's two major markets. Obviously, the Tebow story. You have Boston with the Patriots, and it's going to be a big game. But we did go up against a very good game last year in the AFC as well.
Yes, we did.
And
exactly.
and handled it very well. So
We're also going to have a small box in the corner with the game plan.
And don't think the sports fans aren't going to flip back and forth with the swimsuit competition
exactly.
also. I mean, let's not kid ourselves.
Since you threw another button. Did we get to see even more Vegas in the rest of the show other than the opening description you gave?
There's always Vegas playing on the set. We went out last year and shot 3 or 4 hours of aerials that we put in the chain screens on the side of the set. So yeah.
Sam, where do the questions come from this year?
The questions are made through our judges committee and in association with ABC so that they're equally weighted and of equal difficulty.
But no man on the streets.
No,
No.
no.
Tony, you mentioned the chain things out there. Can you explain, I'm assuming that that's you, I don't know if you Sam or I don't know whose idea that was. Can you explain the purpose of them? And I've heard a lot of complaints about them blocking over half the stage for people who paid a lot of money for tickets. So what's your response to that?
Well,
Everyone who buys a ticket to the Miss America pageant sees it clearly printed on their ticket that there may be some obstructive views, and they come into it with that kind of open attitude and knowledge. They're thrilled to be in the house, and so many people have told us that to attend a live Miss America pageant sitting in the audience is on their bucket list. So I don't think they care if they're slightly obstructive views. They feel like they're in the part of a big production, a big Hollywood moment.
that's what I meant to say.
Yeah.
So, but
that's why he's the man.
Further to the chain screens, we wanted to do something that was an homage to the Miss Americas that came before, the swimsuits, the evening gowns, the crowning moments. And we wanted a ghostly image. So projecting on chain, which is a small reflective surface with a lot of gaps, does that. You can see through it quite easily, by the way.
And if I can add on, we are sold out tomorrow night too, which is good.
Anything, the surrounding. As a member of the media, I can see like a quarter of the stage.
I don't know if you heard me, if I can add on, there is as much excitement this year because there's 7,100 seats and we're sold out for tomorrow night, so it's going to be exciting.
And that money that comes from these ticket sales go into our scholarship fund, which helps make us the #1 provider of scholarships in the world for women. So
Is there an overall sponsor for tomorrow?
we have multiple sponsors this year.
Who are they?
Well, Express,
Oh, okay.
Artistry by Amway, Win Hair Care, Complique, Swimwear,
Joseph Ripkoff.
Joseph Ripkoff.
Any more questions? Okay.
Okay, we'll see you tomorrow night.
Yes, thank you all very much.
Did you have a
What?
question?
Yes, whenever you go to call out the awards at the end,
Yes, ma'am.
and there's the winner spot left, do you ever just want to say, ladies, there's just one more race?
At that moment, I am just as nervous as they are.
Sure.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, everyone.